Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well and you've been having a good week. Today, I just want to talk about the articles in English, and it's very important, especially when you're doing scientific writing or academic writing. So we're going to talk about an, and the. And the way I'm going to do it today is I'm going to show you a video by a British English teacher. Her name is Lucy, and she has an amazing British accent, very clear English, and she explains the 9 rules of using the article. So time to time, I'm going to stop her. I'm going to provide some examples and my own comments. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to English with Lucy. Today, I am going to teach you how to use the articles a, an, and the correctly. I am going to show you the 9 rules for using these articles. This includes when you should use them, when you shouldn't use them, and very importantly, the pronunciation. I know a lot of my students struggle with the pronunciation of these articles. We will discuss when to use a and when to use a, when to use an and when to use an, and when to say the and when to say the. This can be very confusing for my students, so I'm happy to clarify this for you. This lesson will really help you with your grammar and your pronunciation, but if you'd like to improve your grammar and your pronunciation skills even further, then I highly recommend the special method of reading a book whilst listening to the audiobook version at the same time. This can really help you, so let me explain. Take a book that you have already read in English, or a book that you would like to read in English, and read it again whilst listening to the audiobook version from Audible. I've got some great book recommendations for all levels.
Okay then, so I just needed to pause the video for a couple, or for just a moment here. Lucy is just going to talk about Audible, which is, I guess, the product that she sponsors. And she's trying to sell you this book, and it's a good idea to listen to the book and read at the same time. But nevertheless, yeah, you can go to any I guess something like Uloshto or something like that. You can download audiobooks, okay? You can go to Amazon, you can get them for next to nothing, like $1 or something like that. So it's also a good idea. Just read the book and listen to the proper pronunciation, okay? Anyways, let's go back to the video here.
Right, let's get on with the lesson. Rule number 1, the pronunciation of a and an. I believe that you should prioritize pronunciation over grammar at the beginning. This is because it is fairly easy to unlearn bad grammar habits, but it's very, very difficult to correct bad pronunciation habits. You should learn good pronunciation from the very beginning. This is something that I think many teachers miss. A, an, and the may seem like very simple words, but you would be amazed at how many mistakes are made with these words. Let's talk about a first. In British English, the standard, most common pronunciation of a is a. This is the schwa sound. Practice with me. Watch my mouth shape. It's quite a short sound, and it's a push of air, a push of voice. My mouth is open, but my muscles are relaxed. A bed, a cat, a dog. You will also hear us occasionally say a.
Okay, so what Lucy has just said is very important because living in Slovakia, I hear many people pronounce the A sound, A, improperly, okay? Neispravne, improperly, badly. Okay, so in Slovakia, for some reason, many people think that A is E, and I hear happy pronounced happy. So no happy, okay? Happy, happy. The same as bad. It's not bed, okay? Don't be bad. I hear this very often, okay? Yes, I'm always bad. But bed, of course, is postel, so you have to be careful. Bad, okay? It goes on to like badminton, okay? I was in Petržalka walking around and I saw it was written badminton, okay, with an echko. Okay, in English it's with achko, and because it's badminton, okay? Look at this one here. Cup, okay? It's very similar to bad, but this one is more of an okay? Nevertheless, napriek tomu, I hear many people ask for a cup of coffee, okay? Can I have a cup of coffee? So you cannot say a cap, okay? A cap of coffee or a cup of coffee. That's that's a chapitza, a shiltovka, okay? So you cannot ask for that, okay? Always okay? Now, in the next segment, Lucy's going to explain that sometimes we say a, okay? And we use it to emphasize, to dvoraznit, okay? The dvoraz, if we need to repeat what we asked for, then sometimes we say a if it's extremely important. I'll go to Lucy and I'll let her explain it.
Hear us occasionally say a. My mouth starts like this, and it changes into the E sound, a. So we have two options, or a. So we know that is the standard, most common form. So when do we use a? A is the strong form of the article. We use a when we are stressing or emphasizing something. Look at the difference between and a in context. I might ask for a drink by saying, could I have a drink? Could I have a drink? But I'm given 2 drinks. So I might say, I asked for a drink. I asked for a drink. I am emphasizing that I wanted 1 drink, a drink, not 2 drinks. A is used for emphasis. There is also another possibility that you might not read in the grammar books, but I think it's important for you to understand it. You might hear us say a when we are contemplating or thinking about what we are going to say next. For example, I think I'll have a coffee. It doesn't sound as nice to go, I think I'll have a coffee. Listen to native speakers and see if you can notice if they say a when thinking of what to say next in place of a. Now, I've been talking about British English, but what about American English? In American English, a is more commonly used, but it can be regional. You will probably hear both a and used, but a might be more common. Now, these are not strict rules. You will hear people using a and as they please, especially if it helps in the flow of their conversation. This is all the same for an and un. In British English, we are much more likely to say n. That's the same sound with n after it.
Okay, so in Canada, we also, we kind of say okay, but actually we pronounce it an. So I'll have an apple, please. Now that I think about it, yeah, we do. Yeah, maybe we are more like Lucy, and we say an, but we never say like a like the Americans. Remember, Canada is a British colony. America was also okay, but American English, they have their own English. Canadian English is based on British English. Okay, so we don't say a for everything, but we use it pretty much the same as the British, as Lucy would pronounce it. Okay, let's go back to Lucy here. I'm probably just going to fast forward a bit and we'll get right into the rules of when you need to use the article properly. Hang on a second here.
Rule number 2. This refers to the pronunciation of the. Should it be the or should it be the? I have so many students ask me about this. My inbox is full. Normally, in general, we say the. The. It's the v sound with the schwa.
Right.
The.
If you watch your mouth.
However, when the article comes before a vowel sound.
Okay, so if you watch your mouth, I'm not going to go back there. Well, actually, maybe I should go back here. Just one quick second. Sorry about my technical skills. Okay, so her tongue, it just hits the bottom of the top teeth, and that's how it makes the sound, the, because we have two ways of pronouncing th, ta-ha. So we say the, okay? So the way Lucy's pronouncing it right now. But we also say the, okay, like fifth, okay, or sixth, okay. You know, words with this more of a softer one. And that's where the tongue, it goes halfway up to, or it goes halfway to the top of the teeth, okay? So it's not a fa, but a tha, okay? Anyway, so with the, okay, so you have your tongue at the bottom of the teeth right there then, okay? Anyways, let's move on.
The. It's the v sound with the schwa. The. The. However, when the article comes before a vowel sound, we say the. The. That's the v sound. That. Okay,
so Lucy makes a really good point here. So the, okay, is when there's a consonant, okay, spoluhlaska. But when you have samohlaska, a vowel, okay, the becomes the end, the earliest time, the ugly man, the inside of the room, the apple. Some people, sometimes you hear it, and sometimes I make this mistake too. I'll say the apple, okay, the inside of the room. But naturally though, I know it's going to be a vowel, so I will say the apple or the inside of the room. But sometimes, people just begin talking quickly, or they can't collect their thoughts, and so sometimes even native speakers will make this mistake.
In between the and the following word that begins with a vowel sound. This is called intrusion, and you can learn more about it in my connected speech video that will really help you with your pronunciation and your fluency. It's important to remember that we say the before a word that starts with a vowel sound, not just a vowel letter. For example, university. Its first letter is a vowel, but its first sound is not a vowel sound. University.
Okay,
yeah. The first sound is the y sound. So we say the university, the university. The same for the universe,
all right.
the universe. We also use the when we want to emphasize something.
Okay, kind of like
Doesn't
a,
matter
A.
what sound the
I'll
following
have
word
a.
begins with. If we want to emphasize it, then we can say the. For example, if somebody told me that they met the Queen yesterday, I might say, what? You met the Queen. I'm emphasizing the Queen. Let's move on to rule number 3. Use a before consonant sounds and an before vowel sounds.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going to skip that part there with and an. I think that's pretty clear that if there is a vowel, use an, like an apple, an orange, okay, something like that, okay. You can't have two vowels, okay, dve, samohlaski, together, okay. Anyways, so I just want to fast forward this a bit and we'll go on to rule number 4. Hang on a second here.
Now let's move on to rule number 4. Use a and an with countable singular nouns only. Countable nouns are nouns which have both a singular and a plural form. They can be counted. 1 bag, 200 cats. Uncountable nouns cannot be counted. Here are some examples of a and an with countable nouns. A sunset, an open door, an amazing play, a hole, a university degree. I'm using a instead of an because although university is spelt with a vowel sound, it doesn't start with a vowel sound. A university degree, a euro, an MSc.
Okay, so remember, these are countable, okay? So 1 university degree, 2 university degrees, right? Even euro, okay? Again, she's showing here that, even though it's a vowel, the pronunciation is like a consonant. Okay, so these things you can, multiply, okay? So that means they're countable. Počitatelný, okay? An MSc, a Master's of Science. Okay, so you can have a master's degree, but you can have 2 master's degrees, okay? That's why it's countable. It's like 1 diploma, okay? So a euro, 10 euros, 20 euros, and so on, okay? Just remember, these are units, jednotky. Money, okay, the word money, okay, is uncountable. So I have much money, but I have many euros because money, I don't have 2 monies or 3 monies, okay? But I have 2 or 3 euros. Anyways, I'm going to let Lucy go on.
I'm saying an MSc because the letter M is pronounced M, clearly, but it begins with a vowel sound. Here are some examples of uncountable nouns. Nouns which can't be counted. Water, salt, tea, anger, love, darkness. I can't say I have 4 angers. It's uncountable. It can't be counted. You can say I'd like 2 waters or 3 coffees. This is because I am implying that I would like 2 glasses of water or 2 cups of coffee. I'm talking about the units. So a and n can be used with singular, countable nouns only. Singular because we can only use a and n to talk about 1 thing or person at a time. The, however, can be used with all kinds of nouns. The anger, the whole, the European Union, the end. Let's move on to rule number 5. Use a or an to talk about something that is unknown to your listener.
Okay, so this, in this case, it means when you're introducing a new topic, okay, or if you're talking about a noun, a noun for the first time, okay? So I will let her continue.
Use the to talk about something that is known to your listener. This might sound quite complicated, but I'm sure I can make you understand it. Listen to this example. I have a dog and a cat. The dog is golden and the cat is ginger. I say a dog and a cat in the first sentence because that is the first time that I'm mentioning them to my listener. They are unknown to my listener. In the second sentence, I say the dog and the cat because they are already known to my listener. The listener knows which dog and which cat I'm talking about. A and an are called indefinite articles because they refer to something that the listener doesn't know about.
Okay, so indefinite, the listener doesn't know about it, okay? Indefinite, neurčitý člen. And now she's going to talk about the definite article, určitý člen, the.
The is called a definite article because it refers to something that the listener does know about. Let's take a look at another example. I bought new hat last year. Hat was red. It should be, I bought a new hat last year. The hat was red.
Okay, so you can see, first time she spoke, she's introducing the subject, okay, a new hat, okay, so it means like some kind of hat, okay. Now when she talks about the hat, okay, the hat was red. Now you can use the hat was red, the hat was warm, you know, the hat was big, anything like that.
This was fairly easy because I was only talking about one hat. But what if I want to talk about more than one hat or more than one object or person? If I wanted to talk about more than one hat or a specific number of hats, then I wouldn't be able to use a or an. For example, I bought some new hats last year, or I bought 3 new hats last year. The second sentence, the hats were red. I say 3 hats or some if I don't want to specifically mention the amount of hats. The is used because you know which hats I'm talking about. In these examples, we have used a, an, or some in the first sentence. In the second sentence, we have used the because our listener knows what we're talking about. But we don't always have to do this. Sometimes our listener will automatically understand what we're referring to, so we can just use the. For example, can I use the toilet? Can you shut the door? You know which toilet or which door I'm talking about when I say this. The door might be in the room. The toilet might be the only one in the building or the nearest one. Another example?
Yeah, I just want to show you something. I'm just going to move over to the classroom here, and I'm just going to give you an example of what happened actually to me. 1 second here. Okay, so this is the view of the classroom. This is what I look at or look out when I watch the students, okay? There is my office way back there. So once upon a time, it was getting very warm. It was just like it is now. It was late April, maybe it was May, and it was warm outside. So I asked a student who was sitting over here, can you open a window? Okay, so you can see there's many windows, okay? And he actually went and opened that one right there, okay? So you just pulled it open, everybody was happy, and that was the end, okay? So 1 week later, we all met again. I asked the student who was sitting over here somewhere, I said, can you open the window? And the student was like, why did you say the window? The window. last week you asked, can you open a window? So when I said, can I open a window, it didn't matter, just one of them. When I asked him this time, can you open the window? My implication, I was implying, okay? It's like I had a schovaný význam. I don't know how to say in Slovak, but there was another meaning, okay? Another, or iný zámer. So it meant that I know that this window is the most popular, okay? These other windows, they can't even open. So I asked him, can you open the window? It means this one, the same window he opened last week, or the window that we always open.
The woman with the blonde hair is my mother. I say the woman first, but then I give information to identify her, so you know exactly which woman it is. Let's move on to rule number 6. Use a or an to talk about things that aren't specific. For example, do you have an eraser? I'm talking about any eraser. But if I say, do you have the eraser I gave you last week, then I'm talking about one specific eraser. Which cruise? I'm just talking about any cruise. It's non-specific. However, if I'm talking about a specific cruise that I saw advertised, I would say, I want to go on the cruise we saw advertised.
Okay, so I want to go on the cruise we saw advertised. Okay, just like our cover letter, okay, I am applying or I am responding to the advertisement, okay, for the position advertised on Profesia SK. Okay, so I want to go on the cruise, okay, or I am applying for the position or the job we saw advertised. Okay, I'll stop talking and I'll let her continue here.
So a and an for being non-specific, and the for being specific. Let's move on to rule number 7. Use a and an to talk about the category, type, or profession of something or someone. Here are 5 simple examples. Elaine is a feminist. That is how she defines herself. It's her category, I guess. I am a teacher. It's my profession, a teacher. I hear a lot of students say, I am teacher. I am scientist. I work as teacher. I work as scientist.
Yeah, that's that's not good, okay? This is very, very important. I am a teacher, okay? Because there are many, many teachers. There are thousands, millions of teachers in the world. Same with scientists, okay? So you are scientists, okay? All right, scientists, plural. But if I were speaking to an individual, I can say, Tomasz, you are a scientist. You are a student, okay? I'm saying a this time. I'm sounding like an American. Sorry, you are a student, or you are a PhD student, okay? So, because there are many of them, okay? I can also say I am the teacher, but that is to define who I am as my role, okay, as my role in the course, okay? So I am the course instructor, I am the teacher. All right, so I'm gonna let her continue a bit.
It's always a teacher, a scientist. I know in other languages this is different, but in English, remember, we use a and an when we're talking about category, type, or profession. He is an engineer. Our tractor is a John Deere. That's its type or its make, its category. He is an attractive man. Now let's talk about rule number 8. if you want to talk in general using plurals or uncountable nouns, don't use an article. For example,
Oh, hang on a second.
I'm talking about leather belts in general. If I say the leather belts are expensive, I'm talking about a particular kind or brand of leather belts. Another example, do you like gin? Gin is an uncountable noun. I'm asking you if you like gin in general. I'm not asking you if you like this particular brand of gin. If I wanted to ask that, I would say, do you like the gin? Another one, knowledge is a blessing. I'm talking about knowledge in general. Now, let's move on to rule number 9. This is a big one. It's going to be hard to complete in just one lesson, but I'll try my best. Rule number 9 is know when to not use an article. Many of my students struggle with knowing when not to use an article. And there are some rules, there are also many exceptions. I'm going to talk to you about quite a few important rules, and I'll also try to insert the many exceptions. Firstly, in general, we don't use articles with proper nouns. For example, first names, Lucy, William, Gwen, Mohammed. I'm sorry if I didn't say Gwen correctly. I really wanted to include it because I know a lot of my students have that name. Help me with my pronunciation if I didn't do that correctly. Holidays, for example, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day. We wouldn't say the Christmas, the Easter, or the Easter. When talking about geography, articles are generally not used, but there are quite a few exceptions. But in general, we don't use articles for countries like Canada or England, for states or counties like California or Bedfordshire.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause that for a moment. I just want to show you a few things because if you are a geography student, this section is very, very important. 1 second here. Okay, so if you are talking about the name of a village, many times I come across Helpa village or Plavetsky Štvrtok village or something like that. Okay, try to express it, the village of Helpa, the village of Plavetsky Štvrtok, okay, the village of Rusovce or something like that, okay. Another word I see very often is lokalita. Yeah, we use locality. Locale is actually probably the better word. Okay, but here in Europe, I see locality, so we'll leave it like that then. So we can say the locale or the locality around the River Vach. Okay, when you're talking about countries, countries are generally without articles. Okay, so for example, Canada, we don't say the Canada or the England or the Slovakia. Okay, but we do have one exception. Okay, Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine, not Ukraine. Okay, but we always say the Ukraine. Okay, so we can say that President Zelensky is from, or he is the president of the Ukraine. Okay. Or I'm going to the Ukraine, okay? Let's move on here. Now, if you have a republic, republics are always with the. So, Slovakia or the Slovak Republic. The same with the Czech Republic. This one, I hear, this is a very common error in English, okay? I hear many Slovak people say, I am going to Czech this weekend. No. I am going to the Czech Republic, okay? Czech, okay, just the word Czech refers to the language, the nationality, or the person, okay, if he is or she is a Czech, okay, or Czech people, okay. But if you just say Czech, we don't like that in English. We like the whole, the whole name or the whole title, the Czech Republic, okay, when we talk about that country. The same with the Slovak Republic, the People's Republic of China, and so on. Okay, also unions, okay, they have the before them. Always the UK, the USA, the USSR, the United Colors of Benetton. Okay, so any union will have the. Okay, cities are also without. Okay, Toronto, Bratislava, Vienna. Again, there is one exception. I don't know why. Okay, The Hague. Okay, I know it's Das Haag. Okay, or Der Haag. I'm not sure. Haag, but we don't say Haag in English. A hag is generally a woman who is very old and not a very pleasant woman is a hag. Okay, but a Hague, okay, or the Hague. When we hear the Hague, then we know we are talking about the city in Holland or the Netherlands. Okay, so we also have rivers. Rivers are generally with the, okay? We have the Danube, the Nile, the Amazon. If I move down here, also mountains. Mountains, they're without. I'm not going to the Risi this weekend. I'm going to Mount Risi or Mount Gerlach or Mount Everest, okay? Mount McKinley and so on. But if we talk about a group of mountains, so or it's called a mountain range, then we use the, okay? The Alps, the small Carpathians, and the Rocky Mountains. Oh, okay, so let's finish this up. She'll just explain it very quickly here.
For cities like London or Mumbai. For towns like Ubud or Luton. For continents like Africa or
the continents.
Europe. For single lakes like Lake Ontario or Lake Tahoe. And for single mountains like Mount Everest or Mount Fuji. There are exceptions. For example, we say the Ukraine, the Congo, the United States, the United Kingdom, the Philippines, the Czech Republic. If you can think of any more, put them down below in the comments section. We also don't use articles for sports. For example, running, football, badminton, tennis, gymnastics. I don't say I play the football, I say I play football. Languages, English, Spanish, Urdu, Arabic. I don't learn the Arabic, I learn Arabic. For universities, Harvard, Cambridge, Westminster Business School.
Comenius University.
However, if the university name begins with the word university, then we do use the University of York, the University of Reading. We also don't use articles for places, locations, or streets. For example, home, work, school, Main Street. The British equivalent of Main Street, High Street, we do use an article with the High Street.
Yes.
What is on the High Street? There are many exceptions as well. We say the bank, the cinema, the hospital, the dentist, the doctors, the post office. We don't use articles for a noun plus a number. For example, platform 9 3/4 or room 101. And finally, acronyms. In general, we don't use articles with acronyms. For example, NASA.
Okay, remember an
NATO.
acronym.
However,
Okay, North American
if the
Space
letters are
Agency,
pronounced
North
individually in the
Atlantic
acronym, then we
Treaty
do use
Organization.
the UN, the EU, the US. But the is not used before university acronyms, as in UCLA and MIT. Oh my God, are you okay after all of that information? Thank you so much for participating in my lesson. I love having you as my students. Don't forget to check out Audible. You can sign up by clicking the link.
Okay, well, she's just going to advertise some more, so I'm just going to leave it like that then. Okay, so I'm also going to send along in the attachment just like a tip sheet, okay? So it's only 3 pages. You can read it just at your own leisure, okay? It kind of goes through, it only goes through 3 rules, okay? Lucy had 9 rules, okay? But remember the first 4 or 5 of them were all about pronunciation, okay? Generally here, this one here just goes, goes through some of the stuff that she talked about, okay, only with singular, okay? Here it's written also count nouns, okay? Or uncount nouns, you'll see somewhere down there, okay? That's fine, people sometimes say that. Lucy says countable, I also say countable, but sometimes you will come across and find it written as a count noun, okay? So yeah, so there's a whole bunch of examples when to use the definite article. Like she said, things in general, okay? So if you like something, I like coffee, I like Slovakia, anything like that, okay? We never use an article because it's something general, okay? So I'll just pause it here for a second. Okay, so I don't know if any of you watched my tutorial on what you need to study for the exam, but one of the materials you should have received this CD, the CD-ROM, when you began your PhD program. So Mrs. Bensova probably gave it to you. If you don't have it, that's fine. I have several of these, and I also have it on a file format, so I can, I can get it to you somehow. But what I want you to do is, if you load it up, okay, go to 5.1 or 5.2. You will see something that's written here on the side, and it says articles. Okay, everything is explained again. Okay, so you can go through all of this stuff. Read it, but what I would like you to do, and you don't need to send it back to me, this is only self-study this week, go to some of these exercises here. So you can click on, not there, right there, click on exercise 1, okay? The first part is about countable and uncountable nouns. So carbon monoxide is serious air pollutant in heavy traffic areas, okay? Air pollutant is the noun we're looking at, okay? Is an air pollutant, but here we have the adjective, right? Pridavne meno, okay? Think about it. Is it countable or uncountable? So you would just write it here, okay? So if I say I think it's countable, and if I go to check, oh, okay, good. So I got it right. Okay, so you can see the green check mark. The noun is countable and defined by an adjective. Look at the next one. Sodium chloride is extracted as brine, okay, by a process known as solution mining. This is difficult. Let's try it again. I think it's a brine. Okay, if I check it, oh, I didn't get it right. Okay. So in this case, brine is without an article. Okay, so you can go through all these exercises. Go through exercise number 2, exercise number 3, okay? Correcting articles in sentences. This one is not very easy, okay? Look at number 4, okay? So number 4, this has a Slovak flag next to it. I think it's Slovak, or maybe it's Serbian. Excuse me, okay. But anyways, and if you go to exercise number 4, again, you can do the same thing. Choose the correct article, okay. Read it first. Simple experiment demonstrates, okay. So is it yes. Demonstrates how, okay, alkali or alkali, okay, acts on, is it and or 0? Oh, I got it wrong, okay. Yes, an alkali, okay. Alkalis are countable, okay. Okay, so thank you very much for listening or watching this video, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. So again, try to practice some of those exercises that you have on the CD. You don't need to send them back. Just practice it, play around with it, make the mistakes, and ask yourself questions. Why is it or why is it it must be countable, or find the reason, think about the reason, okay? And this way it'll stick into your mind. All right, have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.